Not just for exams, let me say so, but throughout your life. Now, I'm emphasizing on the issues of exams because I really don't want this seminar to not have impact, or the right kind of impact. It should have, and it should be, for it to be, it must be beyond exam. That doesn't mean that you don't perform well in the exams. It means that you perform well in your exams, but you perform better in life, but you perform further into the life after the exam. Is that true? So that's one. So I would therefore try to talk with you first from a development perspective before I attach it to funding as far as your research work is concerned. And the way I'll do that is by talking to you about the vision of RADA. So the RADA is actually a development organization whose vision is to drive sustainable solutions for community development. That's our vision, to drive sustainable solutions to community development. And our mission is to promote community development by building bridges to sustainable solutions in the domains of peace, health, education, agriculture, and technology. That's our mission. So if you find me, those are the things I'm working on. But that's our vision, that's our mission in RADA. Why am I bringing this? It's because the concept that RADA is working on is the basis, is the core of what I want to tell you today around how you can make sure that your research is research that can attract funding. That's the core. And what do you notice? To me, the key thing that I notice in our mission and our vision is the fact that it is focused on solutions. Solutions. Driving sustainable solutions, and then the mission is to do what? Build bridges to what? Sustainable solutions. And where do solutions come from? Where do solutions come from? The thing from where solutions come, what I'm going to tell you about where solutions come from is what I call the foundation for the funding or for the research that attracts funding. Anybody, can you guess? What is that thing? We're all adults. Let's flex our brains. This is something we have to interact on. Anybody has an idea? I won't give a prize, don't worry. What is that thing? All right. Since nobody knows, let me say what that foundation is. Can somebody read this for me? Can somebody read that? Do we have a set of shy university students here? Not bold and things. Can somebody just read that?
Every moment is an opportunity in disguise.
Great. From a development perspective, that's what we know. And that is a belief that RADA has at the core of its development work. Is that every problem is an opportunity in disguise. Now, when something disguises, you don't know that it is the thing, right? So when we see problems, sometimes we absolutely abhor problems sometimes. Don't we hate even the Anglophone crisis? Really. But before it came, there were problems, such as unemployment, which are still here, and many more, isn't it? How many people love the dust? And what about the dirt? Sakam is not even there to carry again. How about the air pollution? Think about all those domains that you are working in school as a student. I want you to read this again. Can someone read this?
There are no problems, only opportunities in disguise.
There are no problems, only opportunities in disguise. That's what how another person has put it. And this really is about how your mind functions, how your mind is set, how your mind is working. Because I think education is meant to transform our minds. If you go through a master's thesis, a master's research, master's training program, PhD training program, all of that is to make sure that your mind is prepared, is built up, isn't it? And so if your mind can be able to see problems as opportunities in disguise, you will be a solution-oriented person. And I can tell you clearly that if you have a research topic that is not solving a problem, I can safely say you are out of topic. Whichever topic you are working on, you are out of topic. Because it's not solving any problem. So, what we look at in the development world that brings funding is really around what solutions you're bringing, what problems you're solving. I see Madam Koresh was talking about the trouble people have in writing the problem. Like, if you cannot really show that you know the problem, that you understand the problem, then what are you solving? In fact, what are you even researching on? Sometimes you get research problems from reading other research work that others have done in that particular field. And maybe from their conclusion, you realize they are concluding, yes, this is like this, but there is this other problem that needs to be handled. That's how research works, and that's how you even get some research topics. Sometimes you have other research topics by observation. Observation. And you realize, hey, this is a problem. And automatically you can bring out a research topic from that one, from that problem. How many people hate problems with all their hearts?
Oh.
You have to start loving problems. Looking at problems as what will give you a PhD and what will give you a master's degree. Look at a problem as a potential thing that can even bring you survival, funding. Please don't take this in a negative sense, because there are so many people who are actually taking advantage of people within the context of problems. But that's not what we're talking about here. This has to be well balanced. You don't take advantage of people in the name of creating opportunities out of problems. We're talking here about responsible solutions to community development challenges. So, what therefore is the strategy? So what is the strategy for funding generally that we use, or that I use? I don't know what others use, but that I know about. Is I look at the strategy to be identify the problem, define the problem very well, which means you know things, different ways of defining a problem could. In fact, when you identify a problem, sometimes your research topic may actually be your process of really defining the problem. You may have to do some research to adequately define that problem, like to understand that problem very well. But identify the problem, this is the direction. Identify the problem, define the problem, then elaborate a solution. Now, in the context of research, if you have already identified your problem, that's where you formulate your research question from, isn't it? And then you elaborate your solution, which would be your whole research proposal. You elaborate your whole research proposal, which should be solving that problem. Because all of these things you will be writing, from stating this to stating that, to writing this and to explaining this, to designing this, all of those are a bunch of creating the solution to the problem you have identified. Now let's say you pass your exams. Let's look beyond exams right now. That's what I promised you would do. Think about your research topic or whatever you're going to work on to even be something that you can implement afterwards as a solution in the community. As a solution in the community. Think about it that way. If it's something you can apply yourself to, pursue afterwards. I have someone in my house that did a study just on language. She did literature, something. And then her project was on, examining this in their language, something about what happens with their language. And so I took her proposal and I asked her if she has any plans to do anything with this document again in the future. And whatever she has as dreams had no connection with that thing that she did. Which means that it will be filed, it will be kept, it will never be used. It may never be used. But I had to challenge her. Maybe you didn't know this, but there is a lot of pearls in what you have worked on. The parents have given you money to do the research. You have traveled, you have interviewed people, you have had sleepless nights. You and your supervisor might have even struggled a lot, and just for you to keep all of those. And I challenge her, there is something inside here that could save you as far as what you're looking for as a job is concerned. Think about it. And just in a moment, we brought out a PowerPoint presentation that she will be doing in their community development meeting. And even though the essence is for her to indirectly present herself, but she will be giving them some good information about their own culture. And after that, she will indicate the fact that she's available for a job. And that's how you make use of yourself, you help the community, and you expose yourself, and you can become employed, rather than sitting and blaming every other person for the fact that you don't have employment. So my challenge is, beyond exams, you could implement it, and that could be employment for you. That could be success in life for you. That could be community development. That could be a solution for the community, and that would be progress for all of us. So what are the qualities of